a case of where do you start? So much of what we do is contributing to the problem. How do we stop that? And how do we actually help work with others and learn? And so I took the view that we just start somewhere and we'll go everywhere. We'll go where it takes us. So because we knew it and because there was some things showing themselves, we started in council tax. So council tax is a service that exists in a local authority, and its de facto purpose is to get your money. And if you don't pay, they ring you up and they tell you to pay. And if they don't do that, they'll send a bailiff around. And the people that were doing that said, this is, no one's thriving here. This isn't working. This doesn't feel right. So I went down there and I listened to lots of phone calls. And one of the questions I asked the team was, who is it that can't pay and who is it that won't pay? Because they're all treated like people that won't pay. And we did some little bit of research, and it was 96% of the people that we were chasing for money couldn't pay. 4% wouldn't pay. So we decided to totally change. We couldn't tweak that. That's not a tweak. So we set up a small team, and we've now done this in lots of different settings. It's not just about council tax. And we understood that council tax is a signal rather than a problem to solve. And we got some people from council tax, a secondee from Department of Work and Pensions, citizens advice, and we put them in a room and we gave them a pot of money and we said to them, right, 2 rules only: do no harm, don't break the law, but you can do anything else you like to help the people that were about to get a bailiff visit. And we gave that team a pot of money and we gave them 6 months and said, tell us what you learn. We also gave them 4 principles, which is, we don't do any assessments. Instead, we seek to understand what matters to you. And assessments for us, how much of what we do can we do to you? Well, that's no use. An assessment is, what does a good life, understand is, what does a good life for you look like? No referrals. We don't pass you on to anybody. Instead, we pull expertise that we need to you with us on the basis that we're forming a relationship. No referrals. Because people are assessed, do refer, cycles just go round and round and round. We use measures to learn and improve. We don't use them to keep score or to make a point to they're for us. So if we learn that something's working, great. If we learn that it's not, we adapt. And the final principle was that we make decisions in the work. We don't make them in my office or in a boardroom or anywhere. So if we need, the team have authority, make a decision. If you feel that you don't, pull for it and we'll turn up and we'll help. But we're not going to tell you what to do. And we set the team away for 6 months, and they took 40 people that were on the list for the bailiff, and we learned that they were already struggling, but we understood why, and I don't have much time. Suffice to say that 70% of those people that have been going around cycles of desperation and poor service for years, and we got them out of it. Got work, into education, onto the benefits that they were entitled to. They built connections locally. We worked with lots of third sector partners because they know a lot more about than we do about what's going on. We just what we called it, we liberated the method. We've since tried to develop that through homelessness and through area-based working, and it's setting the platform for reform across the council, and I would like to think beyond. And we've identified a bunch of things that need to change that we can't affect, things like regulation and inspection. It stymies creativity, and it means people revert to type. The way we commission services, we don't commission for creativity and learning, we create for industry. I'd rather have efficacy, I'd rather have learning. And also the way we lead. We tend to think that once you get promoted, we need to innately know the answer rather than create the capacity for the answer to be found. So we're having to totally change how we work based on a small prototype. And what we find is those 2 rules and those 4 principles have really stayed with us. They haven't been adapted. And what we're now trying to do is make that much more normal rather than prototype, rather than exceptional. And we're finding that it is getting some traction, but this pandemic hasn't helped. But that's what we're trying to do in Gateshead, and we're trying to do it with as many partners as we can. I'm probably running over time. So that's it. That's what we're doing in Gateshead.